Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Krashy, and today we're going to be diving into a jungle VOD review from a player submission. I actually posted in the Predecessor Facebook group, and I was asking for people to throw me some replays and see if we could give them some tips and some pointers. So we're going to be jumping into that. Today we're going to be watching Worries26, who is actually under here. I'm going to move my webcam really quickly. Right here we're gonna be watching Worries26, and he's gonna be going in a pretty decent game. There's actually some gamers in this lobby, so we'll see how this one plays out, see if we can give some pointers and go from there. So first thing I see is this is gonna be the early game, which I definitely want to pay attention to. It's pretty important to see how people set up, and it looks like we're gonna be warding blue and then probably basing heading red, which is totally fine. Also, the first thing I notice is that we are starting with like a short sword. I think it's called short sword. I always forget the names of the components, but short sword. Maybe we're not warding blue starting red. If we are, this might be a little bit late. Usually I leave it about 102, 103. Okay, so it might be a little late. We'll see what the timing actually looks like. He did swap to Sentry, so this is a pretty common strategy, but I want to see if he actually makes it to 125. I think he might be a tiny bit late, or maybe he just pushes it a little bit further than me. So yeah, just a tiny bit late, right? You just lose like a couple of seconds here. Again, the thing with the short sword start is that you really can only go in a couple of like build options from here. So I'm interested to see where this goes. I mean, I do think that like Overlord is kind of okay. I think I've mostly stopped building it on Rampage. I also think the kiting could probably be a little bit better because I feel like this is in smite range. So that's not too terrible, but probably kind of a little bit earlier. I mean, I think that this is not something to be super nitpicky about because the jungle AI is like a little wacky. So yeah, just doing your best to kite. This looks all really fine. But yeah, so I think I've mostly... Ooh, phone alarm. I think I've mostly stopped playing Overlord on Rampage because I just feel like if you're going to build a damage item, it's probably going to be Basilisk. And we might be looking for like a cringe gank level 2, which the Chimera just pulls off. But they're very far. They're very far. Throw a rock, nice stun. Hey, nice downtown throw. I don't know if they can do anything off of that. Actually, it looks like they got some pretty good damage off of that. So that's like a pretty successful gank, all things considered. Yeah, like I said, the Chimera did go for like a level 2 cringe gank. You saw it was red straight to lane, and the map's upside down, so I'll try to keep that in mind. But you see the Chimera over here on the side. So, all right, we're clearing right now, and we're gonna see what comes next. Might even speed it up a little bit. All right, so clearing, looking at the Wraith. I like this potentially. Nice, good rock. So far, you're playing Rampage very well. Cutting across the mid, I think is totally fine. You're onto your blue, and then you'll most likely just finish your first rotation. The main thing I want to see is like where you're going to go build-wise with this. I'm kind of watching your lane as well. Steel's looking like he's kind of doing okay against Fang. Nice. So you're definitely being pretty active. You might even run into the Wraith here, which is nice. Oh, that would have been a good one to hit. But hey, you get the y'all get the kill. Nice, nice. Y'all get the kill and you force the flash. I like being active. I do think it's gonna like put you a little behind, but because you haven't technically gotten something, like you're having successful ganks, but you haven't like gotten something, so you might fall a tiny bit behind. But the activity that you're actually doing is not for nothing, so that's fine. That's fine. All right, second point in the queue. I think usually for me, and it can change, like it really does feel game by game. You seem like you're kind of a heavy ganker. You're catching this wave, which I like. You're getting some of this experience and not letting it go to waste. Usually for me, I tend to pick up my E twice. Okay, that was a lot. Okay, oh, see. Okay, we'll take this one back. We'll take this one back. Because I want to make sure that I'm understanding why you pushed in here. So I had it in fast forward. I was talking about putting points in my E. So usually for me, I like to put 2 points in my E, which I think is like the rumble. I forget what it's called. And then I start putting points in my Q because I still want to increase my clear time. I don't want to sacrifice too much clear time for the stun time, but you can increase that stun time. Okay, so you see them on a ward, and there's 2 of them, but you don't have any backup. So I think that you just kind of overheated a little bit here. Like you see them, like you want to go pressure them. Maybe you want to like rock him so he doesn't go to your 2 camp. But I think that this is just like what's considered like an overheat. Like you're just doing a little bit too much. You rock him. I'm assuming he's going to cleanse it. No, he doesn't cleanse it. And the damage is good. I just think you're like, I think you're feeling a little too confident. The other thing too is like, has he based yet? He hasn't based yet, but he is Chimera, right? So in general, early fights versus Chimera are like the thing you're trying to avoid, right? If you had backup there, you probably could have traded him, but it's just the fact that your Howie wasn't there. So you just got to be a little bit careful. And honestly, if it wasn't Wraith, you also get out. So Wraith is on killing spree, which is not great, and will probably be an issue for the majority of this game. But all things considered, like, you're a little bit ahead in farm on the Chimera. So had we not given up that kill, you probably would have been a little bit ahead. So let's see where you take this. And also the Chimera is now on your 2 camp, but it does look like the Revenant is contesting. So this is going to be good at least. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. So, okay. Why I'm watching this is because I think it's important to recognize the cascade that happens with our decisions, right? So, like, you dying to the Chimera enables him to go for the 2 camp, enables, or like, you know, kind of has the Revenant go to contest him, which forces his flash, right? So it just kind of like has cascaded negatively. Even though it's not like super bad because nobody died, it's still not great, right? All right, we're back out now, and you are going Overlord. Okay, that's fine. We're going Overlord, which I don't think is a terrible option. It's not a terrible option. I just think it's like my third option. I do think that you'll get a little bit of damage for yourself, but bringing something like a Basilisk to the game is probably a little bit better. You don't bring a lot of power from the Basilisk because the Overlord scales, but you do give yourself some cooldown reduction, and then early game, you have like a really good damage. So I don't know. I'm still on the fence about Overlord. I don't think it's terrible. I'm not going to nitpick it that much. If you want to build it, I think it's totally fine. You're going to get yourself a lot more power, and that actually does scale. So, all right. So we'll watch the jungle clears now. Full red side, good. Chimera's back on his red side as well. I guess what I'm looking at here, and this is the way that I'm thinking about this game, is... Okay, going for a gank. I like this. I like that you have the ability to pass up farm to go for ganks, because I feel like a lot of people don't really have that ability. Like, I mean that honestly, like, people see farm and they just want to farm it, but you're like, there's like a potential kill here. See? Even same thing. You see the fight, you're very aware of the fight. Nice. They might walk away. That's a good dive. Nice. That's good. That's good. And then you run straight back in your jungle. This was honestly, this was executed so well. That was, all of that was like executed very, very well. Okay, you catch the mid farm. You don't want to let it go to waste. Howie's kind of back. Even if you only show up for like a second, it might be a little bit of waste of time, but it's fine. Like I said, I'm being a little nitpicky because I'm watching, not actually playing. Right, clear our jungle. Sitting on some good gold. Good. Alright. Now we'll finish our Overlord. And I guess for me, my question is, if I'm looking at this game, I'm looking at Narbash, I'm looking at Chimera, your next item has to be a Tainted Guard, right? Dude, their Wraith is just getting so big, which is just going to be probably the majority of the problem in this game. Nice. Good help. So yeah, you're putting a lot in your queue, which I don't hate. I like I said, I think I personally would probably put a point in my E, but honestly, you know what I could say about this? If you're building the Overlord, you might not need to do that. You actually might be able to get away with doing it this way. And like I said, it's semantics. Like I'm just kind of talking about like what I think I would do usually, which is to speed up my clear a little bit, but you're doing that by buying the Overlord, so. This game might actually end up just being kind of like team diff at a certain point. Sweeping through pit, I like it. Go in here. Even if it's just a catch on. Nice. I love that you played forward there. That was super good. We're gonna watch that one back. We'll actually slow this one down. I love that you played forward there. Like, you get the rock. Hold on, let me see if I can actually take it back. All right, you get the rock, and then you run diagonally forward. This is so good. That's so good to like have the like awareness that like, yeah, your teammates can do the damage there and you can step forward. That's good. All right, it's definitely a Fang call, which I think sometimes this UI might bug. We do have, no, I think we're still on Little Hunt, so it's something to consider because the Chimera does have Big Hunt, but you know, just get this. We still have ultimate, so you can always fight and step away. Back up to the red. Oh, the Chimera's pushing. Okay. All right, we're gonna take a pause after this. All right, let's look at it. So you have Big Hunt now. He's 101.74 and you are 211 at 80, and so you're kind of crushing this guy. I don't know if the farm numbers are right. I like I said, I'm always a little bit worried with the numbers in this UI sometimes because they're a little messy. I think that the gold is probably bugged. I don't think that y'all are more than doubling their gold, but you're ahead, right? Like all things considered, you're ahead. You have more kill participation and like, you know, in total, and you have more farm than him. So you're doing well. Your crest is probably coming on online soon. He's building up his overlord, which is pretty standard. Like I said, I think for me, the next item has to be a tainted guard. You've got a Narbash that would, you know, you could slow down his healing against, you know, the carry who's hitting you. And then you have the Chimera with the self-healing. So that's what I'm really hoping we see for sure. And if not, then we'll, you know, at minimum, we'll talk about that. And we've kind of put that on the table. Okay, you recognize that the lane is kind of holding a freeze here. You see the Chimera, you're able to pop ultimate. The only problem here is the Wraith. That's the only problem here, is that they have the Wraith. Oh, okay. Bit of an overstay. Okay, I do think in that situation, I probably would just leave. You trade a kill on the Chimera, which I think is okay. But you're also doing well yourself, so you don't really want to die here if you can avoid it. So, like, looking at this position, obviously I can't really see the tower health, but you have like a very fed Wraith and like a very healthy Sparrow and Narbash with like a kind of low Chimera, sure, and they're pushing y'all at half health. I think in this scenario, it's probably better to just walk away from this. I kind of respect like trying to hold it. You could throw a boulder at the wave just to try to thin it, but y'all really don't have clear, and to clear you have to step up into the damage, and so you just get tapped down, and like, yeah, y'all do catch him, and I feel like you might have your right click here, you might have your pounce here or whatever it's called. You maybe could have jumped away. I'm not sure on the cooldown of it, because I know that you did jump away originally. So if you didn't have it, then unlucky, and if you did, you definitely should have jumped away. But I think in general I probably would have left that tower, because the Wraith is a big boy problem right now. Wraith is currently 9-0. Yeah, he's huge. He's huge. Your steel's big though, so hopefully we can get the steel into some fights, and then you know, turn things around, because it's 10-7. All right, so we're going Brimstone now. I have two issues, because we have Crest and we have Brimstone. So the biggest issue that I have is that I don't think Overlord and Fire Blossom together is very great. Like you're going like two clear items, and Fire Blossom's always good because it has armor on it. But at that point, I think that if you're going to build Fire Blossom, you just skip the Overlord entirely. Now, it's not that they're bad together. Like there's nothing about this that's inherently bad. The items both work great for Rampage. You're going to give yourself stats that you want. You're bringing yourself additional power. You're going to do damage around your body. It's just that in a game where you need to accomplish certain goals, you need to be pushing yourself towards accomplishing those goals. And unfortunately, like what this goal accomplishes of building these two items together is like faster clear and like, you know, some items that are good for Rampage, but that shouldn't be like the #1 goal. So I just think that there's never really room to build both of these items together. Also, when talking about your crest selection, I think that it's important to understand exactly what the crests do, and I can't read it in game here, but Razorback is essentially going to raise your armor when you pop Razorback. It does some damage back as well, but it raises your armor, and I believe by 25%. I'm going to pull it up. Razorback. I want to be very accurate for this video. So Razorback as a crest is 160 max health, 10 fizz armor, 10 mage armor, and then it has the 90-second cooldown activate on it, which is gain 25% physical and magic armor for 6 seconds, reflect 15% of pre-mitigated damage received from heroes as damage. And so when you're building this item, I tend to only build this item if I'm like a full tank Rampage build. Like I went Fire Blossom, then I went like, let's say double tainted, and then I went into like, you get my point, right? Like I went into a Stonewall, and then I finished on Crystalline Cuirass, because then you're actually like raising your armor quite a bit. And even something like Unbroken Will, if you're playing into like a CC heavy team comp, you can build like Unbroken Will with Razorback and then raise your armor quite a bit. But whenever you're playing with an Overlord, I don't think that you would want to go into this. So ironic enough, I think Sapphire's Mantle would be better, because with Sapphire's Mantle you can actually scale your health upward. When you pop your crest surrounding an enemy, you're going to do some of that damage and stack additional health, and then that health would actually play into the damage that the Overlord is going to give you, or the physical power that the Overlord's going to give you. So I think we're just a little bit off on the goal of what we need to be accomplishing with our build here. Again, the main one being you're playing against a Chimera Narbash. This would have been perfect for a Tainted Guard. I know I was kind of like queuing that up, but definitely would have been perfect for a Tainted Guard. All right, 10-7. The biggest issue is that we need to get y'all into team fights, which, you know, you're playing the game. We hope that happens, because we need to get our steel in fights. Our steel right now is 420. He's got a Fire Blossom online. Like he's solid, right? If he can help lock down the enemy backline. See, perfect. And you probably just got a massive amount of gold off of that. That's a huge pick. This leads y'all into a mini prime. I love this play. Yeah, I love this play. That's actually like, that's probably the potential that y'all just got to come back and win this game is huge right now. It's definitely huge, because you're sitting on like almost a full item now. All right, we have Fangtooth coming up soon. I'm looking at the timer of it, and I think realistically you probably just clear this camp, base, buy item, and then run straight to Fangtooth. So I want to see you basing here. You're looking for this potential gank. The problem is this is going to lead into Fangtooth fight. This is going to lead into Fangtooth fight, and you don't have your items that you earned from killing the Wraith. So even if you kill Kai, which I don't think you can because he's Kai. Okay, we've learned a really big lesson with this gameplay. This whole like last like 15-20 seconds, maybe more, because I'm in 2x speed, has been so helpful for us. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to start respecting Kai. As crazy as that sounds, dude, Chimera is he's a 1v1 animal. On top of the fact that he actually has Phoenix this game, which I don't think is great, but he has the Ruthless Broadsword because he's going into Basilisk, so he's reducing your armors when he's hitting you. So you have a little bit of armor, only a little bit, because you've gone Overlord, and that's okay. But he's shredding down the armor that you do have, while scaling the health that he's been building and the health that he's getting off of his crest item and everything into the power that he has on top of his regeneration passives, right? Like, so he's healing the shit out of himself. He's ripping through your armor. He's doing damage. And even though you're like a little bit ahead of him, like he's got a little bit more farm, but you've been way more active and you've been probably a little bit more like actually ahead of him. You just can't take this 1v1. Like, even with the Razorback pop, like proc and everything, like you just really actually just can't take this 1v1. He's just too strong for that. So I think that we've learned a nice lesson twice in this game, which has led to 2 of our deaths, about why you have to respect Chimera. And even to the point of me saying, like, had you had the midsection, I can't think of what it's called, if you had the middle component for Tainted Guard, that fight actually probably would have gone in your way. So it's the Horn Plate. The Horn Plate is 30 armor, and then it has Blight Skin, which is reduced the source's healing by 25%, which is it's shorter than the 40% that the actual Tainted Guard is going to give you. But if you actually build that component first, had you had that here, you might have won that fight. But even this fight is kind of all for naught, because even if you win this fight, you're going to have to like base, reheal, come back out, and then try to be on time for Fangtooth, when really like taking this isolated fight it's kind of just like an ego check. Like, you're checking their ego to see if you can beat him, and you're sitting on 2,000 plus gold. And the problem with sitting on 2,000 plus gold is that Wraith kill that y'all got is probably y'all's win con, because he was 10-0. You've now pushed him to 10-1. You got a huge bounty off of killing him. You need to spend it. You need to go spend it so you can come back out on field and transfer the power from Wraith to you, right? He's been dominating the game. You get the bounty, you take it, you buy items, you come back out, you use those item purchases to give influence, right? So let's go ahead and watch how this plays out, because I would hate to see them get another Fangtooth and really start pushing the game in their favor. We see Steel trying to have some influence on the map. You see you're down, so if they rush the Fangtooth now, there's really nothing y'all can do. So unfortunately, not only does that fight not do a ton for us, but we're gonna lose the Fangtooth for it. So okay, yeah, that was a pretty big hit for us, because backs against the wall now. We're at oh no, wait, y'all have a Fangtooth. My bad. Okay, good. That's actually good. I'm glad that I read this wrong. Y'all have first Fangtooth, which is good, because y'all don't have to worry about third Fangtooth, because that's what I was getting towards. I was thinking y'all are gonna have to worry about third Fangtooth now. But that said, you could have pushed yourself to two Fangtooths, and you could have been in a position where you could really push towards getting that 8% additional stats, and then that could help y'all, win the game as well. So, just something to think about. Okay, so we have this component, which the name escapes me. That's going to probably build into like a Citadel. I don't think you would build a Draconum, and those are the only two items that I can remember that actually use that. Citadel's not a terrible item for Rampage. It leans them a little bit more toward the Bruiser side, but you can drop the armors of enemy players pretty well and bring yourself a little bit of damage, which goes kind of well with Overlord. And I think that's fine. I think that's fine. Nice pick there. Y'all can definitely run into this fight. This is looking good, looking promising. Unfortunately, the Wraith does get away. Nice. Nice. This is not bad. All of that's good. I'd say the only thing that sucks about this is that y'all happen to be in that like transition period where Orb Prime's not up, so you can't really use this to get anything. And so you just kind of get some gold, get some picks. We keep on moving. So I think if anything, you maybe could have used that scenario to like invade the 2 camp if it was there. Just try to find like a reasons to like step into their jungle, take a camp, and then walk away, so you're like slowly bleeding out the gold gain from like the Chimera or the enemy team. But just like taking your fight win and then like rotating away and getting your own camps is like perfectly fine. It's perfect. All right, we're sitting on 1,600 gold. What are we buying here? All right, yeah, we're working towards the Citadel, I'm pretty sure. All right, this is gonna be. I was hoping for a small trade. Okay, that's unfortunate. There's not really much you can do there, which sucks because they might go for Orb. They have 20 seconds. They could maybe go for Orb. Careful. Careful with the ego. You know that you're down players. No, we can't die here. We can't die here. Run away, like out, run away. Okay, this gets the Wraith killed, which is actually crazy. And then it gets the Sparrow killed. Okay, all of that was a nightmare. All of that was a nightmare. Okay, so you see the Narbash in your jungle. I think you just have to walk away from him. It's another thing. It's another one of those like you're kind of limit testing, so to speak. But you got to walk away because you could have died there. And if you die there, then they go straight for Orb. But funny enough, y'all have gotten a bunch of kills. Go straight to Orb. You should be going straight to Orb right now. You should be spam pinging Orb. Y'all have the jungler down for 30 seconds. Y'all should be getting Orb down right now. But I doubt that y'all are able to get it. So this is another big, this is like a kind of a macro moment for us. Actually, you know what? So much so that I'm going to take it back. I want to go back to 21 minutes. I want to see this play out in real time so I can get like a realistic... Okay, so this is where we first initially get picks against us, right? We're like, oh, damn, they got some kills against us. All right, let's watch the timing of this. We'll speed this up a bit. Okay, so you're going to step into your jungle. The Narbash, he makes you upset, and then you don't really respect that they have numbers, which I think is dangerous. Because, like, yes, it's just a Narbash, but it's not just a Narbash, right? Like, he's got his team. This is forces your ultimate. If they were to get this kill on you, they could instantly run back and go do Orb. So you have to think about these things, right? Because if they get this pick on you, they know you don't have your ultimate. They know that you're down. They know that there's no smite on the table. If you don't have your flash there, they get Orb for free. A good team would get Orb for free. So I have to assume that that's who they are, right? Also, jumping out towards this tower is scary too, because the Chimera could have potentially dove you. That said, this turns positively for your team. Your Steel gets a kill, your Revenant gets a triple kill, and we're not really watching how that goes down. I just want to watch it from your perspective so I can kind of give you a fair representation of how the timing is playing out. So you go back to base, and when you go back to base, look at what's happening, right? You have 30 seconds of time that your team has won, and they're all relatively healthy, and the Orb Prime is up. So if I'm you and I see a triple kill right here, the moment I'm like, oh my gosh, there's 3 dead, I'm spam pinging Orb Prime. I'm letting my team know I'm going straight to Orb Prime. And not only a triple kill, or like 3 kills, they're going to kill the Chimera as well. And killing the Chimera, and he's the last one to die, means that their hunt is down. 45 seconds. 45 seconds of no Chimera and an open Orb Prime. And all of your teammates are relatively healthy, minus the Howie, he died. But your teammates are relatively healthy. And here's the best part. They're in a good position of the map to go for it. Like, they're all in mid. So they can rotate it and beat you there. I would be spam pinging Orb Prime. So your brain kind of defaults you to back to farming, which is a natural thing, right? You want to keep farming. You want to stay on top of your CS. You want to make sure that you're staying ahead. But I think that this was an Orb play. The Steel backed, he could have just based, ran over, and gone straight to Prime. Like that wave could have hit the inhib. That would have been fine. All right, let's see what happens here. Okay. I think that we're also playing a little too fast and loose with not knowing where people are. So, like, you jumped over for this river, I'm assuming. So you're jumping over for this river, but you don't know what's here. And you get it, and then you try to fight. And then you get rewound. And then you pop ultimate. No pop ultimate, I'm just dead. Okay. Yeah, I think that you're just like overdoing it a little bit sometimes. You're simply just doing too much, right? Like you're trying to go too deep. You're trying to accomplish too much on your own. The Citadel buy, like I said, is fine. I think I usually wouldn't buy Citadel until about like 4th personally on Rampage. So just to talk about the build, but we've already mostly covered the build. Also, just for the sake of saying, you also don't have any magic armor, which they have no magic damage. Never mind. You're fine. I forgot they have the Wraith in the mid. Okay. So I was going to say, you haven't pushed any magic armor. So that's fine in this scenario. I think the build for me here, probably, if you wanted to go Overlord, would have been the Overlord Tainted Guard. And then you could honestly throw the Citadel there because you don't have to worry about the magic armor. Or you just go like Fire Blossom, Tainted Guard, Citadel. And then you have like a really solid build here. But we've already talked about that a little bit. So yeah, I think you're just doing a little bit too much in this game. And the thing is at some point that's going to open up the enemy team to just go and force the Prime, right? So we'll see how they're doing here. This is going to get them that second Fangtooth, which luckily isn't, it's not too consequential, but it's not great, right? Because just being picked like that just opens up the door for them. All right, so you're back out. Let's take a look and see how this plays out. They have a pick on y'all's Howie. He's back up. And no teams have really used an opportunity to go for Orb. It's really just been kind of like get some kills, walk away. They've done it a little bit just to get the Fang, like we just saw. Now, like I said, now that there's no like small consequential objectives left, like there's no just like normal Fangs, the next set of like who gets picked and what happens is really big. So how are you falling here? If y'all can't trade this, which you potentially can, nice. Your Revenant's huge. I don't know why it trades like that. Okay, y'all try to chase out the Wraith. That's fine. 2 down and 2 down. It's not great. I don't want y'all to overdo it here. Nice. Good pick. I'll probably just walk away because there's really not much more you could do. The only thing you could probably do, cage the Wraith. There's potential here. I do think this is a little bit overdoing it just because y'all don't have a way to heal yourselves or anything. I think you just want to get out. It really is just like a reset, get healthy, go steal farm. If he can get a pick on his own because of his ultimate, that's one thing. But those were like some good picks. Again, unfortunately, the picks are kind of not the biggest gonna lead to the biggest thing. Okay, we're getting our Tainted Guard. We're getting it now, which is great. It's just very, very late. It's just very late, but I'm glad that you're buying it. It's on the radar. We just gotta shove that up. All right. You definitely don't have a problem grabbing farm, which I like. Because towards the like mid to late game, players tend to like plateau off on how much they're farming, which is not amazing. Okay, we get a pick on this Chimera. That's huge. Orb. Y'all could probably orb. Especially if you get one more pick. So even here, I think you orb here. With jungle down, y'all are losing your inhib though. That's the only bad thing. And now the Wraith is pushing into y'all. No, this is all falling apart. You have your Revenant alive still. Nice. Orb. If you can keep the Fang Mao off of him. Oh no. Oh no, it falls apart. That's so unlucky, man. This is just such a scrappy game. This is such a scrappy game. Okay, the only thing I can say about that fight is to hold the rock. It's the margins are probably small here, but I'll show you what I mean. I'll try to show you what I mean. Okay, you see him coming towards y'all. In this scenario, you should know that he's not going to kill you first, most likely. So you're holding the rock to try to hit him. Turn and look at your Revenant. Like if you just like point your camera and you see him coming here and you turn and you look at your Rev, or you can literally go stand on your Rev, because if you go stand on top of him, he's going to dash onto like one of y'all and he'll hit both of you, don't get me wrong, but you really only need to hit the stun once. So like I would either turn and just look at my Revenant, or like turn and step into my Revenant, because whenever he dashes in, you throw the rock at him to create the space, but he's going to dash through it. So again, the margins are small here. I think that this is an easy rock to miss. I don't mean to be nitpicky, but it is something to think about. Like, he's going to try to kill my carry. Let me turn and look at my carry so I can try to keep him alive, kind of a thing. And yeah, unfortunately, this just leads to y'all not being able to do like big objectives and things, because there's just so much trading in this game. I do think it does suck that, well, one, I think the map is bugged now or something, but it does suck that y'all lost y'all's inhib. I think that they still have all three of theirs, so they're definitely in the driver's seat, but it's a very even game. Oh, dude. Steel learned the importance of respecting Chimera. Steel has also learned the importance of respecting Chimera. Let me look at the Chimera build. The Chimera build is, yeah, it's solid. Minus the Phoenix, which I'm not a huge fan of, but it's very solid. He's just got a lot of armor shred. He's got like self peel with the Stonewall stun. Like I'm not sure exactly what he's building here, but yeah, he's feeling solid. All right, we're back up. Now with the steel pick, we have to be careful for an orb prime. Oh, jumping into a fight like that is scary. They have numbers. I think that you probably just like hard committed. Now the Narbash almost died, which is good because the Revenant's doing a lot. That's a big pick. That's huge. Y'all are in there. Okay, we gotta take this back so we can watch the fight break. The Narbash getting super low was very solid, and your Revenant is doing a ridiculous amount of damage. I would say you got to be careful just like hard diving on someone that you see, because it leads to this kind of a scenario where your health is just gonna be so scuffed. It's super scuffed. Like you're gonna get really hurt. Now that said, the Howie gets dove on by the Chimera. You dive in on the Wraith, which is good. You get thunked, and then you kind of like lose yourself a little bit. But even fighting the Fang Mao here is fine. It just kind of devolved because you lost the Revenant. So I wanna watch. Enemy has been slain. Let me see what's happening on this side of the fight. It's just Fang Mao. Damn, dude. So this is mostly because y'all just don't have your steel. Like you're playing the responsibility of like playing their backline, which you're going on Narbash Wraith. The problem is that Revenant and Howie are getting destroyed by the Fang Mao, which as the game goes on, Fang Mao just becomes more and more problematic. So this fight looks like it broke and y'all were winning it, but then Fang Mao comes back and he's doing all of his beautiful Fang Mao things, and y'all are forced to run away. I mean, most of this is off the back foot of the steel pick to begin with. Oh, they rewind you. I didn't even notice this till now. That's unfortunate. Okay, they rewind you. They rewind you. That is unlucky. That is unlucky. Right, I don't think we'll do the orb because they don't have their Kai, but I mean they could. Yeah, they could. It leaves room for a steal to steal, but you know, oh, he just jumped in. He doesn't know, so okay, take him down. Most likely take him down. Okay. So now they may be able to push an end here. I know the map's all messed up because the spectator mode's buggy, but they might be able to just play for it. And oh, that's a huge pick. That's actually a crazy pick. That's gonna slow them down some. All right, they get Primal Fangtooth though, so they're in the big boy seat when it comes to double buff. Losing their Wraith there is tragic. Losing their Wraith there is pretty tragic. All right, still finishing up our Tainted Guard, and then build a little bit more armor. Okay, cool. What do I want the last item to be? Honestly, it could be anything. It could be any armor item. I think would be just fine. I like that you're sweeping. This is good. Left lane's getting shoved out by steel. Don't overdo it. Don't overdo it. Force your ultimate. Yeah, I think you just overdo it. You stay too much. That gets your Howie killed. Now this gets them pushed in. All just because you wanted to hit the Fang Mao when he stepped in. I mean, that's a good pick. That's at least it gets traded. Man, this game is just all over the place in terms of people diving in, getting picked. That's unfortunate. That is unfortunate. If revenue goes down, then they probably have y'all. Pretty soon anyways. You just have to try to core hold. Nice, Howie's here. Good survival, focus the farm. I would usually try to focus farm here if you can. Yeah, you're full tank, so you gotta be careful. Nice. Okay, this leads to picks. You can run this down. Try careful. Careful, don't overheat. No. No. You just do too much. It's like you win fights for your team and you help win and you help find the pick, and then you instantly go and throw it right back. Cause like, okay, let's pause here. In this scenario, they have 2 down for 58 seconds and your team is almost going to be up. Now there's no objectives to do, so this death isn't the worst death in the world, but like it just doesn't have to happen, right? It just doesn't have to happen. You constantly are putting yourself out of position and you're just dead. And now instead of y'all's team having like this 45-second, 40-second window of openness to push into their jungle, to get deep wards, to go steal farm, to get farmed up, now you're putting your team at like a 30-second deficit. Steel's like, he feels like he has to run them down. He does. So you're kind of forcing the Steel to carry, right? Because he feels like he has to run them down to find a trade, which I actually don't think is terrible, because at least he's kind of like shifted the death timers a little bit. Like he's extended their death timer a little bit. All right, let's see what your rev's doing for the time being. We'll wait for you to come back up. But buffs are coming back up, so this is where the game is important, right? Like you got to play around these buffs. All right, so Primal Fang is up, and Orb is up, and they're already doing Primal Fang. So y'all are gonna trade it, which is not a terrible thing to do, but a 8-minute Orb is Primal Fang. It's a lot of damage, so you're gonna have to be careful, because at least y'all don't give them the pushing power, but if y'all get picked out, like we've been doing a lot of, then you got to be careful. Which I think if they get this pick, that's bad. Okay, so now they probably just run through y'all and then the game. Yeah. So I think based on circumstance, y'all probably should have contested the Fangtooth there, but y'all couldn't have contested the Fangtooth there, maybe based on circumstance. But with the Primordial Blaze, they're probably just gonna finish here. Swapped over. And if you are gonna stay alive, don't overheat. Just focus on the farm. No. Just focus on killing the wave. Why are you doing so much? You could literally just try to focus on killing the wave and stay alive. You don't have to do so much. But now they end. Because Decker cannot defend. Alright. Worries. I feel like we've learned a lot. We got to get the build path in order. If you got a Kai Narbash, you want to get this Tainted Guard online much sooner. We want to get this in like second slot if we can. Also, for some reason, it's reading a Warden's Faith. Is this a Warden's Faith? I'm confused about that. But the spectator mode gets a little buggy. So yeah, try to get the Tainted Guard online sooner. Like I said, between these two items, I think that you're for slot 1, I would look for like Overlord Basilisk or Fire Blossom, and then go into like the necessity of the build and what you actually need to build. But you played well in the early game. You just got to a point where you were like trying to do too much. You're trying to 1v1. You're trying to step in. You're trying to chase down the pick, and you end up overextending too much. So just kind of pull it back in. Try to play for around the objectives. Really pay attention to the objective timers. There was that one period of time where y'all had like 3-4 kills. Y'all could have gone for orb, but you went for farm. And hopefully that this has been helpful. I know this is a long one, but hopefully there was a bunch of good information in here. Friends, thank you so much for watching. Drop a like on the video, subscribe for future Predecessor content. As always, be sure to count on one of the test one of you love them, and I'll see you in the next video.